went to see the Fnaf 2 movie, shockingly. I expected it to be very mid and much worse than the first one, but then halfway through the movie I remembered I don't have an ounce of movie critic anywhere in my body, and I cannot help but enjoy Five Nights at Freddy's. And of course, my movie critic friends are kind of ripping the movie's problems to shreds, but me, I'm an enjoyer. A big-time enjoyer. Here are 100 things I like about the Fnaf 2 movie. Disclaimer. This is not a smart person's opinion on films. I don't watch a lot of new movies. I don't tend to notice plot holes or be bothered by them when I find them. I don't watch much horror at all. In fact, I am the opposite of desensitized to horror. I'm sensitized to horror. I genuinely, maybe a little embarrassingly, find all the FNAF games except for FNAF World to be scary, and I found the first movie to be scary. I will say that I liked things that are, from a critical analysis point of view, things that made the movie worse. Please do not take me saying that I enjoyed X thing to mean that I actually thought it made for a better movie. I don't know what makes a good movie. I've never cared too much as long as I'm enjoying it and as long as the movie isn't like trying to feed me a garbage worldview. Also, this video is full of spoilers. I will spoil everything good about this movie and many other things as well. Do not watch this if you haven't seen the movie. I will spoil all the jokes, I will spoil all the references, I will spoil all the major story beats up to the very end of the movie. This is your only spoiler warning and it has now passed. If you haven't clicked off already, then prepare to be spoiled in 3, 2, 1. 100 things I like about the FNAF 2 movie. Number 1, the intro sequence of Afton introducing Showtime. I loved his voice acting. I liked the writing here. It's just that sort of charismatic entertainer we've always suspected William was. But Matthew Lillard brought it to life more than I could even imagine in my head. Sitting in the theater with that opening, full bucket of popcorn, no idea what was coming next was a great, great feeling, and I can't wait to feel like that again for the next movie. Number 2, I liked how weird Charlotte is. Neither her writing nor her line delivery were any good, and that did detract from her intro, but her posture and aloofness, and the implication that she told Vanessa that the puppet was her spirit parent at some point paints her as such a weird kid. She's really her father's daughter, and obviously that weirdness is in line with her characterization as an ostracized kid in the security puppet minigames in Pizzeria Simulator. Like I said, her lines and delivery were not super strong, but her scream that got the whole pizzeria's attention was really, really great. Like, gave me chills. And the pacing of her scream, and then gasping for breath, looking betrayed and angry and in pain, and then finally the fall that reveals her wounds, and everyone staring in horror as her body begins to slip into the opening stage trapdoor. Maybe I should count that as a separate number, but it all just like falls into the category of things I like about Charlotte. I genuinely wonder if they hired this actress specifically because of her ability to act out this shot. Number 3, the friendship between Charlie and Vanessa. This is like Afton's introduction, where it's like something we always suspected, but then we got to see it. We always suspected the Afton and Emily kids grew up together and were probably friends. It was really cool to see how that was brought to life. And it's so cool to see how similar the children and parents are. Charlie has her father's aloofness but good heart. Vanessa has her father's charisma and ability to command a crowd of attention, or to single one person out and draw them into her inner circle. Really, really groovy, in my opinion. Number 4. The FNAF 2 Pizzeria customer area set. I thought the FNAF 1 set was cool. I want to go to this pizzeria so bad. The water ride, the carousel, Pirates Cove looks so fun. A pirate ship in a ball pit? Hello? And the staging with the marionette rising up out of the center is just so cool. Number 5, I'm listing so many things from the intro sequence, I'm genuinely getting worried I'm gonna hit 100 things and only be like halfway through the movie. The area with all the cogs where the puppet box goes is so beautiful. It's a place that the movie comes back to for quite a few shots and scenes at different times. The enormous cogs all around in the brick space, it just honestly looks really cool. And the puppet's box in the very center has such a presence. I'm glad they made good use of this set. I love this set. I love it, love it, love it. Number 6, this shot of the puppet rising up out of the stage goes so hard. Number 7, I had to count this one as separate even though it's very related to number 6. Charlotte running down the hallway with the kid she's risked her life to save in her arms. And then when she dies, the puppet raises her up in its arms. This is A, a reference to, and B, setting up a future movie for Henry's line,
I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms the way you lifted others into yours. It's time to rest for you and for those you have carried in your arms.
When Henry says this line, which it's really likely he will, assuming they keep making movies, because how could they not somehow have connection terminated? Being able to replay this scene over the line will go so hard, but it will also be so tragic. Henry thinks that there was no one there for Charlie in her darkest hour to raise her up in their arms, but in reality, the puppet, a stand-in for Henry because he created it for her, is the one that's there for her. Radical. Number 8, the reaction of a bunch of the specifically child extras to Charlotte collapsing and revealing her wounds are banging. I personally identify with yellow shirt girl clutching her pearls and girl who drops her pizza in shock. Number 9, William whistling the Toreador march whenever he's in evil mode. Number 10, the intro sequence. When my friends and I were in the theater, watching the previews, whispering our predictions about the movie, one of my friends literally said, I wish they'd just keep the same intro song from the first movie because it was too good, they can't top it. And then for this movie, they remixed the original! The Newton brothers are brilliant. The Fnaf 1 intro song is a huge favorite, and I listen to it on loop sometimes when I'm trying to focus on script writing. I'm sure the second one is going to be the exact same, and I love the 8-bit intros. I mean, we have a canon sprite for Toy Foxy now, which is so exciting. I love the imagery of the puppet as the puppet master, and then the newspapers giving us a lot of exposition about the history of this location throughout the intro sequence was also a great choice in my opinion. Newspapers as exposition are perfectly suited to the franchise, and I'm so glad they didn't have a character try to give us all that information as like a big exposition dump in the first 20 minutes. Hold on, let me do quick math. 10% of the way through the 100 Things I Like, and 8.8% of the way through the movie. Okay, good pace. Let's keep going. Number 11. Ooh, 11 is my favorite number, by the way. Okay, so we'll do a big one here. I love Piper Rubio's acting as Abby. I think there's a risk with child actors that just because they're good at acting out a character who's younger and maybe has some simpler emotions and roles, they won't necessarily be as good as they become older and they need to play a more subtle and emotionally intelligent child who's older. I like Piper's delivery. You can tell she's still a weird kid in both her lines and her delivery, but you can also see her act out how much more confident and secure she is from the first movie. Speaking of, I'm really glad they kept that character development. It's so common for sequels to take the progress a character made or the progress two characters made towards their relationship and revert it back to the original dynamic, undoing all the good work and the epiphany moment from the first movie. I was really worried that would be the case in this movie. I was worried that Abby would struggle to make friends like in the old movie. I was worried she'd be resentful towards Mike like in the first movie. Instead, she's confident, she's making human friends and drawing people to her despite her weirdness, and she and Mike clearly like to be around each other. And another thing, actually, you know what? This one is big enough to be its own number. Number 12, Mike and Abby's relationship. First of all, I love sibling dialogue. Most of the funniest lines delivered by characters, in my opinion, are Abby's banter with Mike. But one thing I really love about their relationship is how it doesn't just resort to siblings who argue. In the first movie, Abby was younger, but more importantly, she was struggling socially and developmentally. She seemed to be stunted because of their tough situation. And she couldn't really be expected to understand the rapid changes in her life. And even if she could, she would not have the emotional tools at her age to just get over it and be normal. Mike was clearly very depressed, overwhelmed, undersupported, and floundering as a caretaker of Abby, and then as a result, they had a lot of tension in the first movie that was sort of that I hate you sibling resentment. Now, Mike is much more stable and practiced. Abby is a lot more mature because she's older and she's undergone the growth of the first movie to be confident and social and take interest in new things. And they've had those deep moments of connection and understanding from the first movie that left them much better friends. And now they've been living like friend siblings for sometimes between a year and 2 years, because it's 2000 in the first movie and she's 10, and it's 2002 in this movie and she's 11. I think it would have been easy to play them as siblings who are always annoyed with each other, but deep down have that classic sibling bond. But I don't think that fits. Instead, they actually seem to enjoy being around each other. Obviously, because it's a movie and there's conflict in movies, they have scenes where they're at odds. But you don't get the sense that that's how they're living all the time. I just especially love seeing siblings who like each other in media, because I have siblings and I have always gotten along really, really well with them. I don't want to gush too much about my siblings, but they are some of my favorite people in the whole world to be around. And not just now that I'm old and mature, but also when I was young and still living with them and sharing a room with one of them. And I mean this so genuinely. I love all my siblings with all my heart, and I do not mean to imply that I have a favorite, but I get along the absolute best, meaning I never have any sibling arguments or annoyances with the sibling with whom I have the biggest age gap. And Abby and Mike's sort of default relationship, the one that we see at the beginning before things start going wrong, where Abby's teasing him about going on a date, reminded me a lot of the dynamic between me and that sibling that I have the biggest age gap with. And that made me happy. Number 13, and this is so specific and maybe weird, but I love how in this scene where we're first introduced to the guy that's helping Mike paint the house, they do not play down how short Josh Hutcherson is. To be fair though, I don't exactly know how they could, because allegedly the guy who plays Jeremiah is 6'8", which is well over a foot taller than Josh. Still, they let him look short on screen, and they should let lead guys look short and represent in movies more often. Number 14, the jump cut of Mike saying, "Oh, Abby doesn't like that kind of attention," to Abby telling a captivated audience of school children the tale of her adventures from the first movie. Presumably, the same kid she's ridden the bus with many times, presumably telling them the story for the umpteenth time. And all these kids are still gathered around her, eating up her words. Good stuff. And also, very Fnaf, because I mean, kids around town spreading rumors about Ferrettis. Number 15.
Wait, so do you actually believe anything I'm saying? 'Cause I'm pretty sure everyone else just thinks I'm making this stuff up. I believe in UFOs and ghosts, so...
Yeah, I like this kid a lot. Number 16. We arrive to perhaps the first thing that some people will wholeheartedly disagree with me on. I think Abby's robotics teacher is so funny. Just the most cartoonish jerk of a teacher to ever grace the screen. At first I thought like, oh no, they're portraying him as such a caricature and a teacher who doesn't like students or their jobs, and it's sort of ridiculous. But that's because at the time I thought they were trying to write him cleverly. In fact, they're not trying to write him cleverly. They were self-aware about how ridiculous the teacher is, and they doubled down until I couldn't help but find him funny and amusing. And I love being amused. Remember, saying I like something does not mean that I think it was a good design decision for the film. It just means I enjoyed it. I don't need to read Reddit or Twitter or anything to know that plenty of people won't agree with me. No worries there. But let me tell you the most totally epic, definitely true headcanon I came up with for why Mr. Berg is like that. Okay? Hear me out. Mr. Berg is secretly Edwin Murray. Think about it. He's got all the most important requirements. He's the right age. He's a man. He's good at robotics. He hates Fazbear and all their inventions. Why? Because Fazbear took everything from him. Also, he's bad with kids. This makes it so poetic when he's killed by Toy Chica, seeing as his own wife, who he replaced with an AI like she was nothing, designed the character of Chica. And at the end of his days, he has to face down the embodiment of his wife, a Chica, who's just an AI, as she asks what we were all thinking when he made a mimic to replace her. I just want to know what's going on inside your head. Number 17.
What's our school motto?
Otters ought to help each otter.
Right.
Another win for Abby on the line delivery. And it makes me happy to know they can make original funny jokes that aren't just references for the fans. Number 18. Pretty brutal to place this one so close to me talking about how much I like Mike and Abby getting along, but I really like this exchange.
I love you.
I have done this. Okay, I haven't done exactly this, but I know exactly how it feels to be upset with someone or something, and you just want to let them know you're not feeling okay and something's wrong, and then they reach out and make some gesture that's equivalent to an I love you, or maybe literally an I love you, and you double down, sending that signal of I'm upset, something's wrong, and you clam up and you don't reciprocate. And it feels yucky, because of course you love them, but the problem isn't fixed, and how are you expected to say the resolution lines? The lines that signal that things are good between you, the lines that imply forgiveness and connection when you haven't closed the books. You haven't forgiven, you haven't connected, the problem is still there. And then they leave to go somewhere or do something, and you're left with three yucky tastes in your heart. One, the bad thing you were feeling at the start, and then the guilt of not saying it back, and then the fear that maybe, just maybe, something horrible will happen and that will have been the last thing you ever said to them. It's just the worst, and I think Piper acts out that scene really well. Number 19, one of the funniest bits in the entire movie in my opinion because of how ridiculous and unexpected and not just funny for the sake of a Fnaf reference it is. When Mike and Vanessa are on their date not date, the server that keeps clearing the crumbs from their table while they're still chatting and eating, 10 out of 10. Number 20, on that same vein of lines that made me smile, I liked Mike's realization that they're sorta kinda on a date. It made me laugh. 20% through 100 things, let's check in on our time. 19% of the way through the movie. This has been easy so far, and I'm keeping a great pace. Number 21. The things I've liked have been very Abby heavy, I'm noticing. This time, I like her sad acceptance of Mike's, maybe they're in heaven. Wouldn't you want that for them? Again, I can imagine myself right in her shoes. That's a question you can't say no to. Of course she wants what's best for her friends, but what she really wants is to have her cake and eat it too. She wants them to be happy, and happy with her. But of course, there's no such thing. And if she had to pick between the two, she'd rather them be happy, but it still sucks for her, and believing they might be in heaven doesn't make it stop sucking. Number 22. I like the Faz Talker shot, and of course the mild ambiance in the background when we see it that lets us know we're beholding a cursed object of great narrative magnitude. Folks who are doing critical reviews of the film will tell you that there are a lot of contrivances that make the plot go, meaning that there's a lot of times that things happen not because of character motivation, but because of like an outside force or a coincidence that the writers put in to make something they need to happen. Your D&D party is walking towards a town and the DM needs you to stop and not reach that town yet, so they put a bunch of harpies in your way. I think, although I'm not sure because again I really don't have an ounce of critic in my body, that this one contrivance is not bad. The Faz Talker is just there. They had a good reason to go to the area it's in, but Abby seeing it is either a coincidence or else it's the field. If you know, you know. I like the way they find it. I also just really like the Faz Talker. It evokes an old Fisher-Price toy, or maybe a Leapfrog learning pad. I feel like I owned one. Number 23, and you knew this one was coming.
Maybe not.
Also hello Fazbear Entertainment, can't believe you got a cameo in here. Number 24, I like the whole paranormal crew. First of all, I like that they're called the Spectral Scoopers. I made a whole rant in another video that is fresh in my mind. But you haven't seen it yet because that video is going to be like 4 hours and it hasn't released yet. But the whole rant is about how some of the puns and double meanings in this franchise fall flat because there's such a stretch in service of the double meaning and they don't really make any sense in the regular context. Spectral Scoopers makes total sense because they're getting the scoop on ghosts and such for TV. But I like the whole paranormal investigators group and the van and the gear and everything. As one of my friends pointed out in the theater, if you've played Phasmophobia, you recognize all the tools and how they're using them. Number 25, perhaps another controversial take. Michael is creepy. His facial expressions, his sunken cheeks, his greasy hair, the way he talks and acts and is, the way he does 3 evil head turns in his first few minutes on screen, like he's Palpatine telling the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise, and the way his speech and his gaze stick on subjects for uncomfortably long. But most of all, his eyebrows. Number 26. I love how the camera pays special attention to Lisa walking over the marionette's trapdoor. For one thing, you could be tempted to think that the trapdoor will collapse here, and you'd be wrong. But what this imagery evokes for me is like stepping in a face circle, or perhaps more so the ancient Indian burial ground trope, knowing what's coming ahead. She's crossed the threshold, she's disturbed the supernatural forces beyond their comprehension, she's sealed her fate. There's no going back. Number 27, a little gruesome, and I actually normally don't like gruesome things because I'm a scaredy cat, but when Mengele takes out Alex, you can see in his camera recording his limbs falling separately from each other. This is gross and gruesome without having to know Fnaf lore, but knowing the lore, we know that Mengele's whole thing is threatening to take you apart just like she was. Added to this is Michael, for whom everything is going to plan, still having that awe and fear on his face of what he's witnessing. Like, he basically knew this would happen. This is what he wants to happen, but the look on his face shows you that he didn't really know what he was dealing with. Even he is in a little over his head. Number 28. Oh my gosh, the first time we saw the puppet freaked me out. I did not know coming into the movie that the puppet was going to be taking human hosts. So I had all the emotions the scene intended of confusion and fear as Lisa was writhing on the floor making noises like she's being strangled, and then the bated breath as she stops moving, and then the horror of realizing she got the puppet in her dog. Though I think this is later proven wrong, the movie definitely leaves you to think that the entire puppet animatronic like snaked under her skin and is wearing her skin. I found the puppet to be consistently scary, and I liked when it was on screen, in that I did not like when it was on screen, because it was scary. And I'm so sure that many of you didn't find it scary in the least, but fun fact about me, one of my top 5 fears is demons, and this possession really preys on that fear for me. Number 29. And that leads me to one I sort of wanted to say chronologically back when we first saw her, but I decided to save it for this part where the puppet possesses her. I really like McKenna Grace's acting. I think she's a great actress and did a great job as both Lisa and the puppet. She gave Lisa some good, subtle depth. Obviously, she's a paranormal investigator and they're investigating the murder of a real girl with the clear implications they do this without permission sometimes. Which brings up all the controversy around real-world paranormal investigators and true crime podcasters and the like. And that is that it's pretty insensitive to drum up and sensationalize a real tragedy for content. But Lisa has done a lot of digging into the background of the place, and you can hear when she delivers her lines about Charlotte dying that it is not a joke to her. I really enjoy McKenna Grace's facial expressions, especially responding to Michael. And then, of course, all the freaky movements she does as the puppet are rad. I've been weirdly selective about the promo material I've seen, so it might be weird that I know this because I didn't even see the last trailer, but I do know this. McKenna Grace is a big Fnaf fan, and she sought out this role for the love of the franchise. And I'm so glad that McKenna Grace and also Piper Rubio, who plays Abby, are big Fnaf fans. Just knowing that they care about the film and the name gave me an extra layer of enjoyment watching the film because I felt confident they put their heart into their characters and the project, and I love that. Number 30, Charlotte's scream as Michael exits the building is either the exact same scream from Charlotte as she died, or another take by the same actress, and I could tell because I found her first scream to be very chilling. Like I said, they genuinely might have selected Charlotte's actress just for how well she did that scene. I like how this is our warning of what will later be said to us. Charlotte is stuck in the same emotion of that day. I think that was a really neat way to show us that before it's told. Oh man, 30% already. Are we still on pace? Oh, well, yeah, okay, we're 36% of the way through the movie. Rad. Number 31. It's real weird that I'm putting this here, but I just remembered it looking at a shot of a bunch of Abby's drawings, and if I went back and put it in its chronological place, then I'd have to renumber basically everything and recalculate the percentages, and yeah, that'd be too much work. Anyways, really early in the intro scenes where we see the open pizzeria, there's an arcade machine that's for Candi from Five Nights at Candy's, and another one for Pop Goes. This is a great way to reference things in the franchise. No one who doesn't know Fnaf is gonna have their experience detracted in any way from not knowing what these names are or mean, and nods to the community like this are so great to see. There's also another one called Freddy and Friends, which as far as I know isn't a reference to one of the fan games, and half of the arcade screen seems to be a lot like Fnaf World, which could be as little as a cool reference, or as much as affirming that animatronica from Fnaf World was a real arcade cabinet that was called Freddy and Friends. Either way, what a win for me because I love Fnaf World. Number 32, just the fact that Vanessa is doing a spin class. This was such an unexpected choice that she made to keep herself busy. You'd think she'd do something more FNAF coded, I don't know, spend her free time sewing plushies. But nah, it's a spin class. It's a good choice because it helps to demonstrate the length of time it's been since the first movie. She's recovered enough from a stab that left her comatose for a few days to be doing intense physical exercise. And I think I will separate this one into two things because they're different enough in my mind. So, number 33, giving her the panic attack scene that demonstrates how present the threat of Afton is for her in the spin class was a great choice. Her heart rate's already up. She's already halfway to breathing like someone hyperventilating. She's in a loud, overstimulating social setting. From looking up a single study on the NIH website, it looks like science affirms that aerobic exercise can really spike your anxiety levels. I mean, regular exercise is linked to lowering overall anxiety, but in the moment, exercise tends to make anxiety spike. And I didn't look for more studies after that because I also experienced this anecdotally, and that's good enough for me. Having had many experiences where exercising myself caused mounting anxiety to bubble to the surface and then I had to leave abruptly, I couldn't empathize with Vanessa more. Well, actually, yeah, I guess I've never pulled a gun on someone, so, I guess I could empathize with her a little more. Number 34, the box. When she opens it, I was like, ooh, a box. Perhaps it could be the box, or at least a reference that indicates to us that we should care about the contents of this box. And then when she started pulling out the objects, I was like, oh, what is that? A colorful bag of candy? But no, it's marbles. And then she got to the final object, Garrett's plane, and I was like, oh geez, at least one of those objects is linked to a pretty major murder. And in the FNAF franchise, it tends to be a pretty big deal when a child has their special toy and then they die. And what do these other items mean? Are they just items from Vanessa's childhood? I don't know, but it sure drew me in and made me curious in all the very best of ways. Also, I have a cool looking box. Well, it's more like a chest in my house with a bunch of important items from my childhood, and I too pull them out every once in a while when I am seeking a particular connection to my past, such as wanting to feel nostalgic. Luckily, I've never needed to confront and shoot my father in a dream, but once again, I connected with the character of Vanessa here. Number 35. When you have a character who wears their hair up, hair coming down always either symbolizes breaking out of their expected role or their mental state unraveling. And they play with hair up, hair down with Vanessa a lot between these two movies. FNAF 1, she's got it back in a very perfect ponytail. I don't know if cops have the same requirements for hairstyles as they do in the military. I assume they're not too dissimilar. Her hair is entirely secured. It's simple, natural, symmetrical. Her hair tie is the same color as her hair, a military hairstyle. In FNAF 2, she spends a lot of time with her hair down. In The Hunger Games Mockingjay, Katniss spends a lot of time with her hair down because her braided hair was a symbol of her identity and sense of self. And to have her hair loose is like her sense of self unraveling. I think Fnaf 2 Vanessa spends so much time with her hair down more so to symbolize how she's no longer under control and no longer in control. She used to be under Afton's control, where she had to live with that military precision. Now she's free. Her hairstyle can change, but she's experiencing that crash that people who have lived their whole life in fear and abuse often experience before they can start rebuilding their life. She's somehow less functional than she was before leaving the abuse. She doesn't know how to live like this, and all the long-term trauma that couldn't be dealt with in the face of constant crisis has totally overwhelmed her. So she has it down because she isn't living under his thumb. She doesn't have to be perfect, but she can't do any other style until she stops unraveling. She tries to put it up for the spin class when she's trying to be normal, make friends, live life, but she can't. So she goes home and wears it loose again. I don't care how overdone this trope is, it never gets old for me. Number 36. Also, that pillow looks super comfy and frames her with a saint-like aura of paintings of antiquity. I don't think that reference is intentional, but it goes hard as a shot. Number 37. The photo in the Afton house. I really cannot make out if Vanessa is this one or this one. If she's not this one, then that's Mrs. Afton. That photo drew out my excitement and curiosity in the best way as a theorist. And the uncanniness of a perfect family photo on one half that's ruined by this strange action from probably Vanessa and her mother, but maybe Vanessa and a third sibling, it made me feel uneasy. Not just because it represents how the two in this half of the shot are ruining Afton's quote perfect family, but also because it's weird. It makes me uncomfortable. It's like you took American Gothic on one half, but then on the other half, you have a candid shot of two people arguing with each other. Number 38, the hallway. It does not matter that I saw this in the trailer at all. It still filled me with dread. Afton in such obscuring lighting, the long distance, the weird amount of doors that's once again uncanny because why are there so many doors and where do they lead to? And then wham, bam, pow, they all fling open. Spooky, scary, cool, nice, neat, love it. Yeah. Number 39. Matthew Lillard. Number 40. Circus Baby is so cool. All the puppets in this movie are so cool, but man, I was really not expecting to see her puppet in this movie and my jaw was agape. I don't think I necessarily need to defend thinking that her puppet is cool, but I have seen some people saying that the green eyes showing possession are ruining the timeline, and I think it's just too early in the movie series to say that. We don't really know what direction Scott's gonna take Movie Baby, if her eyes will go blue to green or maybe the other way around, who she'll be possessed by, and then on top of that, it is a dream sequence, and so some things might be symbolic and not a literal memory. For example, I don't think that photo really hangs in the Afton house because it's not a good photo. Two people are moving in it. It's more like the dream version of the real photo, and it's showing us something neat and metaphorical. Oh, good heavens, another 10% out of the way, 40% and 43% through the movie. Too easy. Number 41. Oh, baby, when Vanessa shot him in the dream sequence, I thought it was the end. I thought it had worked. I thought it was going to be the turning point for her mental state. And then Afton started laughing and it filled the very core of me with uncomfortableness. Oh man, what a horrible note to leave that dream on. Oh man, oh man. Number 42. I really liked the fast talker, stuttering in its voice. It wasn't too hot or too cold, it was just right. Because it's a little creepy when it's talking to Abby, but then it's really creepy at the end when it's talking to Vanessa. Number 43. Abby is such a weird kid. What do you mean? She's got a fish tank and filled it with plants and made popsicle stick puppets of all her friends and put them in a fish tank. Number 44. Abby's first entrance into the Fnaf 2 location, the camera follows her feet as they cross the bridge. This is another instance of the camera focusing on a character's steps as they cross over something that is often associated with folklore and the Fae. Abby walking over the bridge of the moat calls to mind stepping into the spirit world, which is exactly what she's doing. Number 45. I cannot believe I didn't notice this all through the Fnaf 1 movie or in this movie up until the point that Vanessa pulls up in her car. Vanessa is associated over and over again with the color blue, and we know that the color purple and yellow are already important ones to pay attention to because they're Afton and the Yellow Rabbit. I think her shades of blue and how they're used are very intentional and they say something about her character. Check this out. Police officer outfit, blue obviously. Her pretty date outfit, blue but largely swallowed up by her black sweater, which is a lot like her mental state right now. And then they use the same trick again while she's falling asleep. The blue is underneath but it's swallowed up by the darker sweatshirt, and this is the same outfit she's wearing in the spin class, but in that scene it's even more zipped up so you can see her blue shirt barely poking out. because she's not doing well. But then when she's in the dream, either her shirt itself, or maybe it's just the way that the lighting is, but her shirt looks like it's that Bonnie shade of purple where people argue if it's blue or purple, because of course Afton is purple. And then when she's shooting him, she's back in the police officer bright blue, and her car is blue. Oh my goodness. And then she comes to talk to Mike when she tries to warn him about Abby. She's once again wearing blue, covered up by a black jacket. They just cannot stop hiding her blue under a black jacket or sweater. I don't really have any guesses about which character will be tied to Circus Baby, but if it's Vanessa, it would make sense for Baby's eyes to go from green to blue instead of the normal way, because Vanessa is blue. Number 46.
Freddy tried, but his fingers were too fat.
If you know the reference, this line is funny. But if you don't know the reference, it's a dig at Toy Freddy. Either way, what bliss. Number 47. The phone number is 555-0192. That's the Fnaf number. Number 48. The puppet peering over the edge like a vulture as Vanessa looks into the empty puppet's box fills me with dread. I did not mind that I'd seen it before in the trailer. Number 49. I am in love with the puppet's voice. It's so quiet, creepy. I don't even know what word to use to describe it, but I like this voice even more than I like the puppet's ultimate custom night voice. It's just so soft and quiet and resentful. I love the way she delivers the "I don't hate you, but you need to stay out of my way." What a treat. What a treat for my ears. Number 50. I have never seen or been to a science fair in my life. I've never heard of one taking place at schools or the schools of any children I know, to the point that I think they might actually only exist in movies. That said, some of these kids' creations look crazy. No wonder Abby's teacher is so on edge. He's at like the snobby school for gifted youths. I think this might be a good time to place number 51. Oh wait, shoot, we gotta do the percent thing. Halfway done, 54% of the way through the movie. Number 51. I love all the early 2000s clothes everyone's wearing. I sure owned a lot of stuff like this, and I especially love the clothes they picked for the kids. Lots of stripes and such. Number 52, and I'm gonna bleep part of the line because I'm not ready to give up my streak as being a no swear words channel, but this was another moment that I found really funny and unexpected in the movie.
You're such a Mr. Bird.
Who said that?
Number 53. I like the exchange of Vanessa saying to Charlotte that she knows her and she wouldn't hurt Abby, an innocent kid. And then Charlotte asks,
Are you willing to take that chance?
This is yet another moment where I empathize with Vanessa. I don't know that Charlotte would kill a kid, especially given how her vendetta is explained and shown to be against adults specifically. But I'm not sure. And in no universe would I take that chance with the life of a child I love. Number 54. You know what it looks like when their eyes go all glitchy? It looks like the animatronics haywire in Fnaf AR. Number 55. In the taxi cab, I really like how he's listening to Talking in Your Sleep because that song is banging and is now forever a Fnaf song to me. Number 56. Oh yeah, sorry, I definitely gotta add the beak coming off too. I would, in fact, riot if Toy Chica didn't have a beak off moment, and I'm so glad they had it, because jeepers creepers, it's a lot creepier when it's to scale with a real puppet. Look at that thing. Horrifying. Number 57. Henry is just perfect. I mean, he's just perfect. He looks perfect, he acts perfect, he is so sad, he is so aloof, he is exactly how he ought to be. Barely functioning. Number 58, that quick characterization we get about him from 2 seconds of flipping through this scrapbook. Check it all out. Boom, it looks like they might have had a lake that they regularly went to where they owned or rented a pontoon boat. Boom, Charlotte was in grade school and they did not shell out for those custom backgrounds that you could pay more to add on to on your school photos. Boom, Henry was busy and often away because he missed one of her birthdays. Boom, Henry is actively couponing because he seems to be financially hard up right now. That's 4 things. Number 59. The way Henry offers Mike a cup of coffee immediately called to mind William doing the exact same thing in the Fnaf 1 movie and juxtaposed the two men for me. Afton was undoubtedly more charismatic, but he was threatening, and he used the coffee as a way to place distance between himself and Mike and to obscure his face. Henry is just more human in every way. Number 60. Henry says,
So easy. To become so blinded by ambition that even with the best of intentions, you don't see the devil sitting right beside you.
My friend who went to see the movie with me thought the line was a little bit too for the fans, but I quite liked it. I liked his delivery. I liked how quickly it characterizes Henry in the early days, as well as Henry now. In the early days, he was blinded by ambition. He was caught up in the inventions and the entrepreneurship. But now, even after 20 years, nothing has really changed for him since Charlotte's death. He's still on the verge of tears, and he's still full of hatred for William, because he's had no closure at all. Oh boy, time to check in. 60% of the way, 62% of the way through the movie. It's too easy. I should have raised the bar. Should have went for 200 things I like. Number 61. Here's an interesting one because it's one I didn't like at first but really came around to on a second watch. Mike recognizes the river ride from Abby's drawings. At first, this only represented to me how Mike had failed to get that information from Vanessa during their exchange, which was not a well-written exchange. But on a second watch through, it signified something else to me, how closely Mike pays attention to Abby's drawings. This is another moment of feeling like a character really learned from the first movie. He is aware that Abby's art is the window into her world, and as her guardian and caretaker and someone who loves her, he's keeping tabs on it and remembering the things she's drawn. Number 62. This Henry scene is just full of things I like.
People need to know the truth.
Is delivered like a man on the edge of his sanity. If someone I know said that to me, I'd be like prepared for them to tell me the Catholic Church has a particle collider underneath the Vatican to summon aliens, that they will claim our angels in order to fake the second coming of Christ and take control of the world. Number 63. I love the voice of the receptionist at Abby's school. She sounds so much like a school receptionist to me.
I'm so sorry, sir. Apparently there was some sort of incident.
Number 64. What's better than a character trying to break into a dangerous place when you know they need to be sneaky, but then they can't help but make a bunch of noise that alerts the threat to their presence? Because that's what Mike does breaking into the Fnaf 2 location. I mean, really, what's better? Was that? Oh, number 65. The Wizards. That's what's better. Just another thoughtful, faithful, beautiful incarnation of the characters we know and love. Also, I don't think I've listed the toys yet. I'll lump them in with the Wizards. I can't be wasting any numbers or I might list too many things and not make it to the end of the movie before hitting 100. Number 66. Lisa, no! Lisa, please! Don't go, Lisa. You were so cool as the puppet. Lisa! Number 67. I like the way Toy Chica's eyes glow white in the dark. Number 68. I saw that line. I just want to see what's going on in your head. Just what I thought. Nothing. Nothing at all. Coming from a mile away. And yet the delivery still made me laugh a little, you know? I expected her to do the Toy Chica malice voice where she's like, nothing in there at all. Instead of like, nothing in there at all. I can't even do it. I like the delivery. Number 69.
I don't understand. Are the ghost kids here now?
Asking the right questions, Mike. I appreciate it. If I was him, I would be wondering the exact same thing. Number 70. Agony eyes. Oh, another 10% under our belt? My goodness. 70% of the things and 71% through the movie. I cannot emphasize enough. I am listing these things out on my second watch through just as they come up on screen. I'm not going back and padding this list so it somehow keeps pace with the runtime of the movie. I'm shocked and amazed at how perfectly paced this list has been. Number 71. Okay, when this happened, I totally forgot that it was a trailer scene. So I thought when Mike fell in the river that they were gonna use the marionette plushies. But, oh, by the way, I really liked this. Sploosh. Anyways, I thought we were gonna get like a help wanted plush baby sort of flashlight tag, but then the propeller cap came out of the water. Number 72. Another second watch through moment that I'm appreciating. Vanessa is a chronic secret keeper, and it's where a lot of conflict comes from. Mike is clearly not over her first ginormous Fazbear-sized secret from the first movie, but he wants to be there for her. And then he finds out she has another secret about her best friend dying at a Freddy's, and his trust sinks low again. And then, of course, she's got the one more big secret, her brother. And I felt on my first watch through that she needed that classic moment where she attempts to get the secret out. She's got that moment in the Fnaf 2 office with Mike where she's like, I've learned my lesson, like I'm sorry I shouldn't have kept secrets, and she seems to mean it. But then she doesn't ever try to communicate that final secret. However, she does, I just missed it. She's trying to spit out her apology in the office there. She stutters, but then she gets interrupted by Balloon Boy, and then Mike tells her to go. And I think it's in character for her to struggle to say what she wants to say because of the scene in that police storage house thing place where she brings Mike from the first movie. In that scene, she has a really hard time spitting out words about her family too. So consistent characterization there. Number 73.
Hey, how do I close the door?
There isn't a door.
There isn't a door? What kind of idiot designed this place?
Number 74. Toy Freddy's voice is so different from his UCN and FNAF AR voice. I'm pretty sure that's Kellen Goff. I'm not a total original Toy Freddy voice hater, but I do think this was the right choice. Number 75. Security breach. I think this 100 things is showing that I am one of the fans who really likes references. To be fair, I don't think anyone who takes issue with the movie dislikes references. They more so just think that there wasn't a lot to the movie besides references. Not me though. I'm a chronic enjoyer. I enjoy things all day. All day. Number 76. Oh, would you look at that? There's an audio lure option on the animatronics. I think that's neat. I wonder if it means that the toys can be lured with audio, like FNAF 3 Springtrap, or if it means that the toys can act as an audio lure for Springlock animatronics. Actually, come to think of it, Toy Chica sorta has like Springlock things in her, as we see later. And in the movie universe, this was the original Freddy's location. Maybe the toys and Wizards are Springlocks. In that case, an audio lure feature is just peachy keen, just like the game Springlocks. Peachy keen, peachy keen. Okay, sorry. Number 77. I really liked the young actress who interacts with Toy Bonnie. I thought she was really talented and endearing. Number 78, I was so impressed with the Mangle animatronic. I know I counted the toys and Wizards already, but Mangle really deserves her own spot. Because Mangle has his own cool scene on the car roof with the two heads. I'm making a big video on FNAF AR, and my Mangle appreciation is really growing. And now we got the canon-ish sprite of Toy Foxy. Rah! Also, I'm so curious what it's like to act opposite a puppet like Mangle. Number 79. Throwing a hot dog at Toy Freddy was a very appropriate and valid reaction. I would likely throw everything in my reach at an animatronic if it popped up in my house, say at a certain hour of night, at my fridge, when I'm just trying to eat some delectable shredded cheese. And you know what? We'll lump in hitting Toy Freddy with Mangle / sort of a car in with this one. Number 80. You know, I don't actually have strong feelings about much of the Office segment with FNAF 2 gameplay. I'm glad they included it, and I had a pleasant time watching it. I'm not gonna put him adding the mask on the list, but what I will add is Withered Bonnie crawling through the vents. How did they do that? Is that just a part of the suit in there? Is there a person in there, or are they puppeting it remotely? And of course, obviously, Withered Bonnie is the spookiest of the Wizards in my opinion, so he was a good choice for the vents. My, 80% and 83% of the way through the movie. Are you nervous for me? Do you think I'll have a hard time coming up with 20 things about the last 15 minutes? Ooh. Number 81, Shadow Bonnie. If you saw him, you saw him. And I didn't see him. Not on my first or my second watch through, but I knew he was in the Office segment, so I had to go back and rewind until I found him. Number 82, Mike getting into the system to disconnect the marionette's wireless control of the animatronics, and then it brings up that "Are you sure?" pop-up, and he's like, "Yes, I'm sure!" That almost kills him, and it kind of killed me. You know what I mean? Puns. Yeah, anyways. Number 83. I mean, Doug. Yeah, it's Doug. I put Doug the lawyer on the list. So sue me. Don't sue me. Subscribe to me. Number 84. No, Toy Chica, don't explode into a gaping stomach cavity and reveal the puppet stowed away inside of you. You're so sexy. Ah ha ha. Number, just stop laughing. Number 85. I like Vanessa's emotional breakdown when her car breaks down. There's a lot of things I suspect are going through Vanessa's head in that moment, such as, people I love are going to die, I can't save them, and I am a curse on everyone who gets close to me. At least that's how I would feel if I were her. And my breakdown would be, at minimum, a cry, a scream, and throw in something. And so for the third or fourth time, I don't know, I'm not keeping track, I empathize with Vanessa. Number 86. Spooky fast talker saying, "No, silly, it's me, Abby." Oh, the dread I felt in the depths of my stomach. I genuinely believed that Abby was dead. I experienced the highs and lows of human emotion watching the silly jump scare bear movie. Number 87. Seeing the puppet slither out of Abby through the reflection in the music box. That's the second time the movie has obscured something probably very disturbing and / or difficult to pull off by forcing the audience to view it through a different lens. I like the limited perspective and how it makes your mind fill in the gaps. Number 88. Controversial take alert, perhaps. I really like that the marionette left Abby without killing her. I don't really know for sure. Maybe it needs to keep someone alive while it's possessing them so that it doesn't have the Ennard problem where they're decaying too much to be useful, but maybe it can possess a dead body. So there's two options here. Option number 1, the marionette needs a living person and only kills them when it's done with them. This option is horrifying because it means Lisa was alive and experienced something very similar to Games Mike when he had Ennard in him, and that is peak FNAF horror. Or number 2, the marionette can kill a person and it's choosing not to kill Abby while it possesses her. And I like this option just as much because of the scene where Vanessa says, Charlotte, you wouldn't hurt Abby, she's just an innocent kid, and the marionette asks, do you want to take that chance? Because it means the marionette was bluffing. Charlotte wouldn't hurt an innocent child, and I really like that interpretation. Charlotte is crafty enough to bluff, but does not betray her characterization of being a protector of children. I like both the options a lot. I think the implications of Abby being alive are either horrifying or else build up Charlotte's character, and I I hope it's the second one. Number 89. It's like the bag of orange gummy candies all over again. Candy. Number 90, Michael's facial expression when Mike says, "Your father is dead," is real ambiguous in all the right ways. Is that a smile out of contempt and hate? Is he seething, or does he know? It seems to me on the first and second watch through that he knows. And you know what? Number 91, oh wait, shoot, we gotta see how we're doing. 90% and 92% through the movie. Number 91, Michael Afton is crazy. Vanessa has been on edge this whole movie. She's been seeing things, having breakdowns, and then Jeremiah has that joke and then the callback joke about her having crazy eyes, and then she and Mike have a good bit of dialogue about being normal. But then during Michael Afton's confrontation, we see he is crazy. I mean, he is deep in the delusion and lies of his father. And Vanessa even tries to appeal to him, being like, "We could have a normal life." And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, Vanessa, you could have been so much worse. Even in Fnaf 1, when she was like low-key being evil, she had so much more normalcy about her. Vanessa got all of Afton's charisma in one way, and Michael got, I don't know, Michael got something. Number 92. I appreciate the movie's commitment to calling Michael Afton by his full name, Michael, because by golly, it's gonna be confusing talking about this movie and switching up Mike and Michael. And it would have been way more confusing if they didn't always call Michael Michael and Mike Mike. Mike. Who's there? Pooh. Number 93. I like Michael Afton's actor a lot. When Vanessa rejects his come home and he says, "It doesn't matter to me," he's once again really hard to read, but it sure seems like he's like not okay. Almost sad. I don't think you could accuse any of the Aftons of killing each other lightly. Even Afton stabbing Vanessa in the first movie, it's not easy for him. When I heard this line in theaters, the extent to which I want to see the FNAF World Drowning ending screen happen for these two is insane. Please, Scott Cawthon, redemption arc for Michael. But if not, it's okay. Azula had a good arc too. Number 94, the panic on that man's face when Foxy started humming. Gotta love fan references. Number 95, Foxy stomp on Toy Bonnie. Number 96.
Are you going to heaven? See you there someday?
Oh. Number 97, the end credits song being the Living Tombstones. It's been so long. Number 98, we found one. A real one. Number 99, I love the way the phone dude equivalent acts when he's in the room alone with Springtrap for just a few moments. He's got that hype and excitement and hope he was feeling, and then it just gets like swallowed up in some sort of, oh, that thing is evil realization. It's very Man in Room 1280 to me. And now, here we are at the very end. Number 100.
I was William Afton's business partner for many years.
The way that line and its delivery sits right in my soul. How lovely. How wonderful. Dang, done already? I'm not saying I could have done 200, but I bet I'd have another 20 in me if I watched the movie for a third and fourth time. Hey, I really enjoyed making this video and just listing things I like about the movie. I really hope y'all can tell how much I enjoy the things I enjoy and that it adds a bit to your own enjoyment. I think, like, when I hear someone else say that they like something, especially if it's already been criticized, it feels like it gives me permission to like it too. Speaking of liking things, I bet you think I'm gonna say like the video, but I'm actually gonna say, let me know if you like this 100 things I like sort of style, and if you'd ever want to see me do it again for any other entry into the franchise. There's so many parts of the franchise, games, books, and such that get dunked on all the time. And I genuinely think I could do this for anything, as long as it's like, actually long enough to get 100 things out of. I love FNAF. I love talking about things that I love. I hope my positivity isn't getting annoying, but if it is, don't worry, video's over. I have been Candy Bunny, and I have candy all day. Candy, candy, candy.